welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is July 31st, 2026, last day of the month, and we are red across the board on our crypto coins. So WBTC, or sorry, ETH, let's start with ETH. ETH is down almost 3%. BTC is down 3%, so we're tiny positive on the ETH BTC chart. I've got a couple tweets, or at least one tweet that I've saved about that. We'll talk about this a little bit later. So Sonic is down 3% as well. Let's take a look at that chart. It looks pretty scary. Gold is down as well, but I think I'm still in range. I'm probably outside of range now. And it's not loading yet. Oh no, still in range. Pretty good. So let's take a look at the stonks that I hold. So the S&P's kind of right in the middle of my range, which is nice on Rameses, which I'm happy with this. Hope it bounces around a long time in here so I can get all these trading fees and then eventually goes out the top. But you never know. Google is approaching my top. As you see, I joined this pool down here at a pretty good time. I might want to pull some of my stable coins out of the bottom of this so that they're not just sitting there idle, and put them to work elsewhere, because this is actually Google USDG, so there's no interest on the stable coins sitting down here. There's probably anyhow. So ScanDisk I did make a mistake on this, but we always make them, right? We always do things that we regret in hindsight. So I provided liquidity back here. It went below. I aped out because I was like, yeah, there's nothing here holding this up. It was kind of, it's not a meme coin, but it kind of trades a little bit way above its valuation, or it's definitely its PE ratio and stuff like that. So, I pumped back in, and then I should have closed so that I wouldn't have lost money on this, but then now it's coming back down. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think it might come down to this range here. I'm not going to assess this deeply, but I just wanted to highlight that everyone makes these mistakes. I pulled out at a loss, but I did move it into Google down here yesterday, and I'm up quite a bit on that, so that's good. So that's it for that. Let's kind of get into the tweets, and we can talk about those. But as always, this is not financial advice. You do what you got to do and decide what you want. Okay, so in here we have DeFi Dad and Nomadic on the Edge podcast. They've got this guy on here. What's his name? Justin Trudeau. Michael Just Dilted. Anyhow, this guy here. And he's got a lot of good points in here. Okay, so I'm going to read through these because some people can't see them. And I think they're all really good, okay? So he's like, how not to lose money in crypto. So he's like, don't sell the bottom, right? So don't sell now, right? Don't follow narratives and not first principles. Like, you can definitely make money quickly if you're really good at following narratives. So it's not like, but most people aren't. And most people lose money during narratives because narratives don't give you conviction, right? They just, if you're really quick and early and fast, you can make money off extracting from narratives, but they won't give you conviction to hold through downtimes, right? People lose money if they ignore on-chain data and stick to their personal biases. Yeah, so don't marry your bags. I have this problem a little bit for ETH. I probably should have sold more at the up to 5,000 range, but I'm okay. Fail to build conviction towards differentiated views. Avoid poking holes in your own ideas. Chase performance versus good entries. Fall in love with your assets. So there's quite a bit of very similar ideas in here. Fail to have conviction to hold your winners. Let ideology seep into your portfolio. Yeah, that's a good point there. Like, this is one of the ideology factors that I have is that I never buy tokens unless there's absolutely no inflation. So I have to buy them. I always farm them, and I only ever keep tokens that have APR on them, so I can stake for APR and stuff like that. And I think that's my ideology, and I think it suits me pretty well. Try to get rich quick. Yeah, don't do that. Have the scarcity mindset versus growth. Yeah. So what he's saying here is like, don't just be a cheapskate. Try to grow your portfolio. Try to grow your lifestyle, right? Get triggered when others disagree. This is very important. I try my best to be always open to this, and I'm going to show you a tweet today where I could have got triggered, but I didn't, and we'll see what happens. Fail to cut losers when your thesis breaks. So yeah, some people like, one of the questions I always ask myself is, would I buy it here? Now, I did mention just like 2 minutes ago that I don't buy anything, right? But it's a good way to look at something. Like if it's down, and then I said, would I buy it here, or would I enter this position here? And if I say yes to that, then I might hold it, right? But if I think no, then I don't think it's a good time to buy. Then I usually sell at a loss, right? So I get out of those positions. But anyhow, let's kind of get into the next tweet and see what's there. So Gabriel Saprio retweeted this guy, Justin Bonos. I don't follow Justin Bonos, but I'm going to follow him now. So he's basically talking about BTC, and he's echoing the kind of thoughts that I have about it. Like he's like, BTC should not be taken seriously as an investment. It is an emperor wearing no clothes without any utility or long-term security, making it purely speculative asset, contrary to the original goals of the project of Satoshi, so to speak. So he's got a whole list of things here. I'm just going to read the headlines, and then you can kind of read what he means per post, right? So per heading, right? Per point. So he's like, no capacity, so no utility. So Bitcoin doesn't have any purpose, right? Like, of course, the store of value purpose is the only real purpose, but you can't really use it for anything. You got to wrap it in order to collateralize it, all this kind of stuff, right? No long-term security without utility. So yeah, like as the hash rate's going down and down, and there's like more and more centralization of the mining and so forth, it's becoming less and less of like a secure asset, right? No scarcity without security. I don't know what he means here. I have to read through all that. No value proposition without security. So yeah, so as security is falling down, the value proposition is also failing. No turning completeness programmability. So yeah, you can't do anything with it. No DeFi, right? No privacy, right? There's no privacy. You can't even use privacy like narrative for it. Proof of work is inefficient and wasteful compared to proof of stake. Proof of work is less decentralized than proof of stake, especially now, right? Dysfunctional governance, toxic culture, conflicts of interest. There's a lot in here. I don't want to read through all of them because I got to get going. Oh, that's it. There's only 2 more, so I'll read them. Entrenched in complicit leadership and inability to solve all of these problems. So yeah, this is a pretty long post. I think you can read it in full when you have some time. I will retweet this so that you can kind of easily find it. Okay, so Crypto Lin is a long-time Pendle bull, and yeah, I'm bullish on Pendle as well. And to be completely clear here, I do hold Pendle tokens, and I do hold Pendle positions, right? So she's got 9 points on Pendle here that I'm going to try to rip through as quickly as I can, so then you can kind of think a little bit deeper on this. So TVL has grown in the last 14 days in the bear. Boros OI was 48 million a month ago. It's now like up to like 151 million, so tripled in 4 weeks. Boros markets grew 27 to 37 in a single week, so more markets on Boros. This is one of the if you go to Pendle, like Boros is their new the V2 basically, right? Boros volume is growing. PT auto looping is live, so you can supply, borrow, swap, repeat. Torture is officially 1 click, so yeah, you can loop up your PT tokens now live with single clicking. Pendle buybacks are across 2 million. This is an interesting one, 7 here. 93% of S Pendle wallets have never unstaked, not once. That's pretty cool. So people who stake S Pendle for S Pendle, they don't unstake, they just keep grinding, right? 7 new markets in 2 weeks. And Monad flagship keeps compounding. AUSD is, so yeah, there's a lot to play with on Pendle, and I think it's a fantastic place. I personally like to just buy PT tokens because they're like term deposits, fixed rate term deposits. You buy them, when you're gonna get out, and what your rate is going to be, what your profit is going to be. I really like doing it that way. But sometimes LP, but I never just farm points with yield tokens. Moving on. So Millie's got this post here. He's reposting Mark Zeller, and this is more about the idea of like Bitcoin is not really great because take a look at this. This is the hash rate, total hash rate here, and the price. So as you can see, the hash rate is decreasing and the price is decreasing as well for Bitcoin. Now the hash rate is the major thing of security, right? And as the hash rate has to decrease in order to engage more people to come, then it just shows that there's not a lot of competition to be a Bitcoin miner anymore. So the hash rate almost always follows the price action, because it becomes unprofitable to mine because BTC is not worth as much, but the hash requirements is very expensive to run a miner when the hash rate is very high. So anyways, you can read through this. Millie's got some good points here that there are some turning ideas here. Like he said, AI can accelerate chip efficiency and chip production. So it can definitely help like NVIDIA and all of these like GPUs be created more and cheaper, right? However, the ASIC system cannot be repurposed. So like when you have a miner, you cannot just pivot the miner to like an AI, GPU farm or something like this. That's what he's kind of getting at there. So I don't hold any Bitcoin. I used to hold Bitcoin. I kind of lost some Bitcoin as well to like just moving around and seed phrase lossage, but that's on me, right? That's not them. That's not their fault. But anyhow, let's move on. Okay, so here we have Sonic. I'm getting more and more bullish on Sonic. It's a fantastic time to look at it if you're thinking about price action. I don't really think about price action, but I've always known that this chain is very very like the tech is good, right? It's very usable and I like it, right? And I'm bullish, and of course I've got bags, right? So I want them to succeed in that sense. But anyway, so they've got this tweet here about Inspira Labs. So most founders never find out if they got passed on. They just get ghosted and then they have to guess. So 8 teams are about to get an actual answer in writing from judges who do this for a living. 20K in ecosystem grants and support directly from our engineer teams for the winner demo day. So I do have a connection with these people. I'm talking to them about actually sponsoring this podcast. So that might be coming out pretty soon. But if you are a founder and you are looking for a place to deploy a unique thing, reach out to me and I'll connect you to some people at Sonic who can assist you in whatever ways they think you can get assistance. Okay, so let's move over to this Frankencoin. Frankencoin is a Swiss franc, right? So it's a stable coin, but they have it's a over collateralized stable coin where you put in collateral and then you can mint it. But now they are allowing for staked Y-bold. So this is basically just Y-bold, but it's staked, right? So it's getting APR. So you got currently about 9%, 10%ish sometimes. So your collateral is a US stable coin and using it to mint this Frankencoin. I don't know where this Frankencoin can be put to work, but allowing this as collateral for your stable coin is fantastic. Like can you imagine having a stable coin that's getting 10% and you can use that as collateral to loop up, or even to just do some 1.5x farming and stuff like that. Anyhow, so let's move on to the next one. So here we have Peach retweeting Solana thing. So Solana says like World X DIY is fully on-chain prediction mark. I don't really follow Solana closely, but it does come across the news a lot. And she's like, when someone says the problem is humans settle the market, and they say we solved it by using Chainlink, it is a fraud or a lack of understanding of what they're talking about, or both. So he's criticizing that idea. But what I don't understand is, like, remember, like, it was like a month ago or something, they were like, oh, we're leaving, we've decided to leave Solana, and we're going to Robinhood. Was it all just like a big lie and a huge big engagement farm? And like everyone was going to retweet. Like, I hate this kind of stuff. Like, I think it's like disingenuous, like so obvious and stupid. They're just like, bad news is good news, basically. And it was all just probably orchestrated and silliness, right? So anyhow, you decide what you want to do, but that's the way I feel about that. Okay, so you have Charlie Kerr. I talked about this guy's tweet yesterday, I think. I don't know, I engaged with this tweet yesterday. And then, so JP and Meme Lord is like a data tweeter. He basically loves Dune, and he just tweets out about things with data. And I think he's a little bit biased towards like Aerodrome and stuff like that, and kind of hates on Uniswap a little bit. But he doesn't, like, he's not just like spreading mindless FUD. He's actually spreading like data. I'm not following him for some reason. Anyhow, so now I am. Oh, you've blocked him, so I have to unblock him for some reason. Why did I block him? I wonder what he did that made me block him. But anyways, I'll go through that later and find out. So anyhow, so he's here, and he's like, I've spent all this time posting about Uniswap, and the founder still blocked me. Honestly, I post about data analysis and talk about current events backed with my analysis. My predictions have been accurate, and I routinely point out flaws in top line values pushed by the official Uniswap account, as well as other top Uniswap holders. Now, Uniswap team members are taking the time to analyze my posting history. So I guess he's one of the person who Charlie was talking about yesterday, and so forth. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. Let's move on to the next one, and I'll figure out how to deal with him later. So DeFi Warhol says, my airdrop wins for July, none. There were no airdrops, were cooked. This is why I always tell people not to be an airdrop farmer. Don't. Your goal should not be to get an airdrop. It's just bonus. It's icing on the cake. You have to find opportunities that give you real yield, like predictable yield on chain. Emissions already going, or looping up leverage or live APR, right? That's what you need to find. And any kind of points that come out of that, and any kind of airdrop that comes out of that, it's just juice, right? Just a little bit of extra, like, you need to get your meat and potatoes, and you can have a little piece of pie in the end. Okay, Confucius says he sold coin. Now, there's a lot of people talking about this today, and that is that Coinbase, I talked about it yesterday as well. Coinbase doesn't hold Ethereum. They build Base, which is an Ethereum L2, but instead of holding Ethereum, they sell their Ethereum and buy BTC. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, they want Ethereum users, liquidity, and fees without meaningful alignment to ETH itself. I believe I'm with him on this. Like, why? Like Ethereum has much more potential than BTC, and Base should be aligned with it because they've built an L2 on top of Ethereum. And I don't know, maybe there's some whispers in their boardrooms or their whales who are like, yeah, we want you to do this, and if you don't do this, then we're going to move our assets somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, moving on to this is the post I wanted to mention. This is about Frax Finance. In this post, I talk about this opportunity that came up where you can get 15% APY through this metronome synthetic utility US dollars. But as you can see, the stable coin is now at 68 cents. And I warn about that. Like, I in the end, at the bottom of this post, I talk about like why I'm afraid, because it was at 98 cents and it was at risk, and there were other things that you need to be careful, right? And then this guy says bad timing for this post, and I'm like, did you read the post? And he said I did, and he's like, I didn't mean criticism. I was just kind of replying, right? Reply guying, and I'm like, okay, that's okay. Now, so this is the thing that I could have been triggered in, but I wasn't triggered. But to be honest, there's one thing here I say, don't mint this and sell it for LPing, that's for sure. So I said don't do this because you're going to get 98 cents on the dollar, right? But I didn't know it was going to be at 68 cents today. So if you had minted and sold it for 98 cents, you could now buy back your debt at 68 cents. So it would have been profitable to mint this at that time, LP it, hold the LP until today. Now you pull the LP, you get a whole bunch of your debt back, and then you can now, with whatever like USDC is left, or whatever FRX USD is left over, you can use it to buy cheap and pay off your debt. So it would have been a profitable play to actually mint if you did it right. But anyhow, I'm not trying to suggest you to do that, especially now. But that is just an explanation. So Liquidy's IPOR Volt, Liquidy's Carry Volt by IPOR. I've talked about this many times. It's paid in ETH. You just auto compounding ETH via the Bold ecosystem with I believe Uniswap, right? So IPOR and Curve. It's the Curve LP. So Bold, USDC Curve LP, Liquidity V2, and IPOR. That's it. But they've raised the caps again. So now 1,500 ETH is the capacity, and it's still paying between 8 to 10% in APR paid in ETH. So go check it out, boys, and see if it's something you want to do. I got 2 more tweets for you. So Pump Fund laid off their employees just 2 months before the token vesting was scheduled. So so a bunch of people got laid off from Pump Fund, and then after they got laid off, they start talking about let's give our token allocation to people. Now, if you're a Pump Fund employee and you're getting rugged by this, then it's on you, man. Like you decided to work for a company that is basically their major product is an extraction tool for insiders and cabals, and you decided to put your efforts into helping them to build this. Now, I know some people don't care. They just want money. They just want a job, and they just willing to work anywhere that's willing to hire them. But yeah, that's exactly what happened here. So moving on. Last tweet for the day is Coinbase is selling their ETH to buy BTC. So again, just one more tweet. I forgot about it. I should have talked about this one when I brought up that Confucius one, which is here. So why he sold coin, and there's another person just basically saying, yeah, they're long BTC, they're shorting the ETH BTC chart, and yeah, so that's happening. So anyhow, I guess that's it for today. I hope this has been interesting and useful, and thank you for listening, and goodbye.